Hey, what's up guys, my name is Charlie, welcome back to another requested reaction video, and this is going to be Happy Video Game Nerd Eternal Darkness follow-up review. Whew, that rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? So, this channel was recommended to me by the Night Star, and I reviewed a certain video, Eternal Darkness, the review from the Happy Video Game Nerd, and I disagreed with mostly what he said. But it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the video. I actually enjoyed the video very much. I enjoyed the argument, I enjoyed frothing out the mouth and my head spinning at a 360 degree. I mean, it was good. Just because I disagree with someone doesn't mean I don't like it. Arguments are a very entertaining sport. Yeah, let's check out the Eternal Darkness follow-up review. Maybe he's actually played the full entire game now. Maybe he's completed it. Because in the previous video, I don't think he was playing the game properly. You know, he wasn't using the sort of ranged weapons correctly. He wasn't using the magical spells correctly to enchant his weapons. He wasn't using the aiming system correctly. Yeah, I agree, the controls are a bit clunky, but it's a sort of charm that adds to the game, like I said. That's my opinion anyway. It adds a charm to it, like the Resident Evil tank controls, you know. Can you imagine playing Resident Evil without the Resident Evil tank controls sort of feeling? It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be a classic. It wouldn't have that sort of feeling, you know. So sometimes bad things does affect the game, but sometimes bad things makes it more cool. But I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, let's check out the video, and hopefully he can explain himself a little bit better why he didn't enjoy the game as everyone else did. And hopefully this will be it. But let's go. Ooh, Jesus. My poor ears. Okay. Okay.
Hey, so it's not October anymore. I guess I'm a couple of months behind getting back to a certain horror game.
I wonder why. I bet he got a lot of criticism for this. I bet he got fucking roasted. A lot
read
of
your
people.
comments, listened to your tips and suggestions. Some of you thought I was crazy for asking for feedback, but it turned out okay actually. Definitely people were, let's say, passionate. But
I was
respectfully
passionate.
disagree was a phrase I heard more than
Respectfully
you think.
disagree. That's for
Turns
saying
out the internet isn't always
you're
a terrible
wrong.
place. So armed with a fuller understanding of Eternal Darkness, I'm back from having properly finished this game.
Oh, that's
And I'm here
good.
to
At
tell
least
you
he's
that
completed the
this
game.
just ain't for
Thank God.
me.
Ah, yeah.
I still
It's
enjoyed
not for
the
him.
story and appreciated its ambition. I loved its audio presentation with wonderful voice work, music, and sound effects, but the combat, the magic, and its attempts to spook me with its sanity gimmick couldn't have done less for me.
Ah, that's a shame.
But I think I see what others love so much about Eternal Darkness, and as someone who plays horror games pretty regularly, I've come to the realization
always say that when
Eternal
they try to
Darkness
insult
is the
you.
perfect horror game for people who prefer their games at a less demanding pace and for people with a lower tolerance for scares.
This game's not all about
First thing to do
scares.
is clear the air of
supposed to be a
mistakes I made
creepy
when I first reviewed this
atmosphere.
game. First off, Eternal Darkness
Not every
did in
horror
fact come
game's
out
about
after the
scares.
Resident Evil remake and Silent Hill 2, not the other way around. So I take back what I said about this game looking extremely good. Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil destroy in the visuals department.
True.
Eternal Darkness's aesthetics are good at best, neither
true.
great nor exceptional.
It reminds me of the time splitter graphics
Finishing
at the
enemies.
time for the
I
GameCube.
swear I never noticed they blink until I was nearly finished editing. Just a total bonehead moment for me. Trappers. I don't know why, but it never occurred to me to use blades and arrows.
Yeah,
Just
that's
take
what I
them
was
out in one
saying.
shot and
Use
move on.
ranged
Another bonehead
weapons.
moment. Everyone seems to think that I didn't know about locking, but go back and watch the footage, and most
Used
of the
it
time I wasn't
limitedly.
locking on. It was at the very beginning of the game, when combat is easy and simple anyway. And I was honestly just rushing through that part when capturing footage for the review. The Gorilla Guys. Their magic is super annoying, though it is not entirely unavoidable.
Yeah, just
Up close it
distance
can be hard to
yourself.
avoid, but yes, far away it is avoidable.
See, yeah.
Most of your comments were on how I was behaving in combat. It mostly had to do with how little I was using magic, and
Yeah,
holy
you
crap,
gotta use
y'all
the
weren't
magic.
kidding. this game goes from pretty frustrating to stupid easy.
Yeah, it does. I agree on this
With
part.
enhanced weapons, I'm cutting down monsters where they stand, typically in one hit.
It's really
just
easy with the
slaughtering
magic
them.
weapons. It's
If
fun.
I ever needed crowd control, I could just toss up a barrier and I'm totally protected. And if I was ever hurting for magic or health, I would just run in a circle and then cast my super heal all spell.
Yep.
At times it felt like I was cheating, but nope, it's all right there in the game.
Yeah.
I also took your suggestion and the suggestion of the strategy guide and just
Of
ran
course,
past enemies I
strategy
didn't
guide.
feel like fighting. During the Guardian battle, the strategy guide
Oh, I
said,
remember this
quote,
thing.
"This is indisputably the most difficult battle in the game."
Nah, it's not.
Yeah, the timing was a bit tricky on the boss's
difficult, but it's
second
not the
stage, but
hardest.
I found it pretty easy and rather dull. Once I figured out what to do and when to
Yeah.
cast the spell, it was stupid easy.
Yeah, I
People also
agree.
brought
It
up
is
the point that
easy.
this isn't an action game, and no, it isn't exclusively, but why then do I start the game as a badass chick with a shotgun, blasting
True.
zombies? And then this badass Spartan dude who is completely nonplussed by the sight of the dead getting up
Why'd you
and
call him a
walking
Spartan
around?
dude?
What does work just feels janky as
He's not a
hell.
Spartan
And
dude.
you hardcore fans might be shocked that dozens and dozens of comments admitted that, yeah, the combat is kinda clunky. It was true that I didn't fully grasp the combat last time, but once it was explained to me, the game became, frankly, a bore. Use of magic negates nearly all difficulty, and even without magic, the combat couldn't have been any less satisfying. It did absolutely nothing for me.
Damn. That's a
Eternal
shame.
Darkness' sanity meter gets a lot of praise and is often held up
Yeah,
as
it
one
was
reason this
unique
game
to the
is a
GameCube
classic.
because
The sanity thing is cool on
was
paper,
sort of the
but
first
never
of its
amounts
type.
to much. I've been told time and time again this game is terrifying. Yes, the bathtub gag was a cheap jump scare that totally got me, but that's it.
the game's not
And as
about
your
jump
comments
scares though.
stated,
It's a,
if you're low on
just because
sanity,
it's
you
a
can
horror
just
game
cast
doesn't
a
mean it
spell
has to be
refill
jump
it, so
scares.
what's the point?
It's-
And even when I
horror game
purposely
could
let
just
my
be a
sanity
creepy
drop
atmosphere.
Just to see the gags, they were nothing special. To the people who find this game terrifying, I think playing Silent Hill 2 would literally kill you. But I don't mean to demean
not
people
true.
who find this game scary. In fact, I'd recommend people who just can't handle Silent Hill to look at Eternal Darkness as an alternative. But to horror fans, I say look elsewhere for memorable scares and unnerving atmosphere. I think it says something that for the sake of research,
Tank
I
controls for
booted
the
up the
Resident
Resident Evil remake, and right away, I was having a better time. Are these games
remake.
really comparable? No, they're apples and oranges, but I prefer this apple to that orange. Give me item management over a magic system. Give me the claustrophobia of a spooky mansion over the mystery of a spooky mansion. Give me rationing items and carefully plotting my path to running in a circle to refill my magic so I can cast the overly powerful heal all spell before I enhance my weapons to kill enemies in one hit. But then it's unfair to say that
You do
Eternal
have a map
Darkness'
system in
combat does
Eternal-
nothing for me,
Eternal
without
Darkness.
admitting
Pretty
that
sure
the
you do have
classic
a map
Resident
system.
Evil tank controls are an acquired taste. But Resident Evil is more my speed. Eternal Darkness is not. So if you don't care for Resident Evil, then Eternal Darkness might be your game. Neither of these two games are for everyone, but chances are one of these is for you. That's what I'm trying to say here. Doing right by my fans means doing two things.
Okay.
1, listening to my fans, and 2, being honest with my fans. This is why 1, I'm reviewing Eternal Darkness in the first place, and 2, I'm here to tell you that it does nothing for me.
Yeah, that's a
I know
shame.
a lot of you wanted to hear me talk about how great this game was, but that's not happening.
That
I'm not as
sucks, but
alone as some of the
that's
hardcore
alright.
fans may think, though I may be one of the few critics to give Eternal Darkness a non-recommendation. And before some of
Non-recommendation.
you start
Come
pointing at the
on.
word happy at the top there, I calls them like I sees them, which is why I also didn't recommend Splatterhouse 3 and Zoto's Revenge way back in the day, or Parasite Eve 2 recently.
No, this game's good.
One last thing before I conclude this video. Eternal Darkness fans should read Andrew McMillan's piece on how Silicon Knights pretty much destroyed their studio working on Eternal Darkness 2. Too Human wasn't the hit they were hoping
Oh,
for.
I
and
remember that
instead
game.
of concentrating their
Bloody
efforts on
hell.
a follow-up project, X-Men Destiny, they had nearly half their team secretly working on Eternal Darkness 2 to be shopped around
Make it
after
happen.
Destiny's release. The neglected
Put it on the
X-Men game
Nintendo
flopped
Switch.
harder than Too Human, and the build of Eternal Darkness 2 was reportedly not even close to something that could be shopped around.
Damn.
You could make the case that Eternal Darkness begat the hubris that led to Silicon Knights' eventual undoing. You also might have heard that they tried to sue Epic Games and lost big time.
Of course.
Anything more Eternal Darkness related is highly unlikely, and even I'll admit that it's a shame because the problems I have with this game could probably be fixed with a sequel, but Dennis Dyack evidently did a stunning job mismanaging his studio.
So really it came down to the combat. Some people were able to look past its shortcomings and still enjoy it. I was not able to.
Ah, that's a shame.
The story, which again I did enjoy, just wasn't enough for me. If you left a comment on my previous Eternal Darkness video, thanks. You had a hand in making this video.
Oh boy, I bet there's a lot of angry comments.
Internet experiment that I had. I think it was kind of cool. Even though a lot of people were upset, that's just kind of how it goes. And thanks to all the people who said I respectfully disagree. There was certainly
when someone says I respectfully disagree, that means I don't agree with you. You know, it's not what you think it means.
It's not for me, but check it out. I'm frankly sick of talking about this game, so I'm going to wrap things up and just say this is the Happy Video Game Nerd saying, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
True.
Cheers.
Alright, okay. Oh boy, this music. I think that's the end of the video. After the end of the screeching dead animals that sounded like that. But yeah, I mean, thank God he did a Eternal Darkness follow-up review on this. I'm really glad he did this, even though I disagree with, you know, his previous video. I'm glad he did an Eternal Darkness follow-up review, because it would have been a shame if he criticized the game without even completing the game. I mean, that's a shame. And like I said, I don't think he was using the ranged weapons correctly. He was barely using them. And the magic system, when you learn how to use the magic system, it's so much easier to play the game. Now, most people say, oh, this game's too easy. But an easy game doesn't make a bad game, and a hard game doesn't make it a bad game. You know, everyone has different tastes, everyone has different styles, and it's just as simple as this. This game's just not for him, and a lot of other people might not enjoy Eternal Darkness. And, you know, that's okay, I understand. You know, it's apples and oranges, like you said. It's just not for everyone. Everyone has different tastes and needs. You know, you play a video game, not everyone's gonna like that video game. You know, not everyone's gonna enjoy the same movie. Not everyone's gonna enjoy the same art piece. You know, everyone's an individual. Everyone has their own thoughts, their own ideas, their own perspectives, their own needs, and that's what's called being an individual. You know, your own thought process. It separates you from the crowd. And a lot of people who feel differently about things, you know, they are the most gifted, so to speak. You know, you don't want to be a part of the crowd. You don't want to be, you know, another brick in the wall, you know, just agreeing with everything everyone says. Like I said in a previous comment to the Night Star, you know, can you imagine a world where everyone agreed with everything you said and did? My God, that would be hell on earth. Can you imagine everyone agreeing with you every single time? That would be hell. I enjoy a good argument. I enjoy the sort of frothing out the mouth, being triggered, being salty. No, most people don't enjoy that, but I actually enjoy it. It gets my blood pumping, gets me ready, and it gets me my thought processes ready to you know, combat that argument. I enjoy a good argument. I'm sorry, but there's something about arguments that are very delicious. It's quite satisfying to have an argument. I don't know why, as long as it's fun and friendly. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Eternal Darkness, and I'm so glad he did a follow-up review, you know, and I'm glad he completed the game, so to speak. But I'm so hurt that he didn't know the characters' names, calling it the Spartacus guy. I mean, come on, the Spartan guy. Come on, don't call him that. Give him his real name. Call him by the real characters. Yeah, so I'm glad he's using, magic weapons, range attacks, he's, using the aiming system correctly. I'm glad he's actually playing the game properly in this follow-up review, because in his previous video, his sort of playthrough was just sloppy and, you know, it was all over the place. But then again, you know, when you don't really care about a game and that's not doing it for you, you don't really care. You know, you just want to get through the game. But Eternal Darkness isn't just about being scary. Most people call it a horror game, and when you think of horror games, you think of jump scares and, you know, all that crap. But it doesn't have to be about jump scares, you know, something scary like a movie or a game. It's not always about jump scares. It could be a creepy atmosphere like the Silent Hill Mist sort of thing. And that alone makes it creepy, you know, just the atmosphere. And the combat is a bit clunky. Like I said, yeah, I agree that the combat is actually clunky. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the clunkiness because I have to wait for the enemy to go into the middle, you know, trying to swing a sword at the wall, trying to attack the enemy. It doesn't make sense. You can't attack an enemy and hit the wall, you know. So you got to draw the enemy into the middle of the area and attack him. That makes sense, you know. You can't swing your sword at a wall and attack the enemy at the same time. Maybe that makes sense, but you know, they should remaster the Eternal Darkness game. I mean, because it was released on GameCube, and the problem with that, like I said, they couldn't update the game. You know, like with a Steam patch or something like that. It wasn't online, so I mean, they could have simply they could remaster Eternal Darkness for the Nintendo Switch. I would love that. I would absolutely buy the Nintendo Switch if they remastered Eternal Darkness. Because I'm not going to buy the Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to spend all that money for games I don't want to play. I would buy the Nintendo Switch if they release Super Mario Sunshine. I would buy that shit so fucking fast my head would spin. If Super Mario Sunshine remastered in 4K or something like that was for the Nintendo Switch, I would buy that shit so fast. I don't want to keep playing games that are just being released, you know, you're playing the same games over and over. For an example, like, let's say, Skyrim. You know, you buy Skyrim for Steam and then it's released for another console like the Xbox 360 and stuff like that. And what you want to do is you just want to just play one game for the system. You don't want to keep constantly buying the game for every single system that's out there, because that sucks. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.